Sai Ram. The year 1977 was very special. Swami gave us a new hostel. This hostel was built within the presence of Brindavan Ashram, and how it came to be built inside is already mentioned in one of the earlier episodes, when Swami shifted the location of the hostel from behind the college to within the ashram, when a student prayed on behalf of all of us that Swami should consider this. I remember that day, the day of inauguration. It was very special. The Shanti Vedika, or the stage which we see in Sai Ramesh Hall today, was built exactly at that time. And on the sides of that Shanti Vedika were steps. And I remember Swami wanted that all the students who had secured ranks and distinction in the various courses in our college, which was then affiliated to the Bangalore University, should be seated on those steps. The acting President of India, Sri B.D. Jatti, was an ardent devotee of Bhagawan, was the chief guest, and he inaugurated this hostel. Miss Elsie Cowan, who was in her 90s, also came all the way from America to be present at the occasion. And I remember how beautiful the entire function was, and it even featured in the 9 o'clock news, All India Radio News that day. So this was what happened on the 28th of April 1977. And that year everything was new. The dining hall was new and the hostel rooms were new. But the construction of this building itself was very special. Swami had given the construction, the person who was in charge of the construction was Brigadier Bose, who had been the director of IIT Kharagpur earlier. He used to stand there personally from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. I remember that figure with that umbrella. He used to stand there and personally supervise the construction of this building. And Bhagawan would also visit the hostel under construction every single day. In fact, Swami had got it announced that devotees should not come for darshan during the weekdays, and they could come for darshan only on Sundays because this construction had to pick up pace. And when, in spite of that, devotees started coming and lining outside the compound wall, and in fact some enterprising ones would even climb on trees to have darshan, Swami started coming early in the morning, 5:45 like that. He would come and go around the hostel and ask Brigadier Bose what was the progress. Every day some progress had to be shown. So this is how this hostel came to be built. And that year, during the month of September, the college prayer hall was to be inaugurated. This prayer hall is on top of the library. And the day before its inauguration, Bhagawan came and looked into the various details. He wanted to see if all the arrangements had been made and everything was in place. Dr. V.K. Gokak, who was later to be the Vice Chancellor of the Sathya Sai Institute of High Learning, Professor Gokak, as he was known to all of us, was very great devotee of Bhagawan, and he was to be the chief guest for that function. And we were all very excited, very thrilled that Swami looked into all the details in the evening around 6:30. Early the next morning, it was 2:30 a.m., a few of us students had been permitted by Bhagawan to sleep in the old bungalow. Some of us used to sleep just outside Swami's room, where there was a long veranda. And as I was sleeping there, I felt a sensation of light on my face. So I opened my eyes to see somebody focusing a torch on my face. And as I opened one eye, a soft voice said, "Go to sleep." And I closed my eyes, only to realize within a few seconds that it was Swami's voice that had told me to sleep. So immediately I woke up and saw that Swami was walking away from where I was lying down, and Swami was having in his hand a small pen torch, the type that doctors used to see to examine the throat. And so quickly I woke up all my fellow students who were there, hostel students who were there, and told them, "Hey, Swami is there, Swami is there." So immediately everyone got up, we rolled our beds, and then we saw Swami was pacing up and down. He was going up and down the room, that veranda. Then we got to know that actually Swami had planned to leave for Ooty that morning. And he had selected a few guests to accompany him, a few elders. And some of the elders had overslept. And so Swami was now waiting for them to get ready and come. As we were watching Swami, and when Swami came to us, we decided to pray to Swami to come back soon. So Swami had always told us that when I am leaving a place, or when someone is leaving a place, you should not say, "Don't go." Okay, so we planned to say in this manner, "Swami, please come back soon." Swami, we prayed, "Swami, please come back soon." And Swami said, "Soon? What do you mean soon?" We said, "Swami, Krishnashtami is very close. It was just about 2 or 3 days later. Swami, please come back for Krishnashtami." And then, while we were all feeling very bad, Swami said, "Krishnashtami, but I don't travel on Ashtami days," making all of us laugh. And then Swami gave us a beautiful namaskar. And we asked Swami, should we go and wake up the boys who are there sleeping downstairs? And Swami said, no, don't do that. When I come to the last step, that time, you wake up all these boys. And so Swami was talking to us and asking about this and that. And within a few minutes, the elders came, they got ready, and they came. And Swami came down the steps. And when he came to the last step, he said, "Now go and wake up everybody." So we woke up everybody. And then Swami went to the main door, and as the main door opened, Swami was surprised, at least he pretended to be surprised, to see the whole hostel there. Because what had happened was, one of the boys, a few boys actually, were studying for the supplementary exams. And since the focus always was on Swami those days, all the students used to always wait in some way or other to keep in connected to Swami. This boy had peeped through the window and to look at Swami's room, and he found that the light was on, and the light was on for a long time. So he quickly went and asked the classmate who was also reading, "Hey, Swami's room light is on for a long time." And 2-3 of them met together and said, one boy said, "Hey, yesterday Swami's car went for refueling." So they said, "Oh, for putting petrol." So then they came to the conclusion that Swami was leaving for some place. And so they quickly woke up the entire hostel. And so when Swami came to the main door, he found the entire hostel there. And then, of course, Swami left for Ooty. On Krishna Janmashtami day, it was a tradition in those days. In fact, on Krishna Janmashtami and also on Shankaranti day, we used to have the cow procession. The Gokulam in Brindavan had been developed very much in those days, because Swami himself used to take personal interest. He had named all the cows. And if my memory serves me right, there were about 25-30 cows. And there were quite a few boys who were taking care of these cows. Many of them had come from villages, and so they were very comfortable taking care of the cows. But they were very hard-working boys. And our in charge of the Brindavan Ashram, Sri Ram Brahmam, used to call them as cowboys. And these boys were very capable boys, do a lot of hard work. These were all Australian Jersey cows. And so they used to yield a lot of milk. And these boys would finish milking the cows, and then they would give them a nice bath. They would clean up the Gokulam, the entire area, because in the morning Swami would come to visit the place. Afternoon also Swami would come, and if any cow was not well, they would bring it to Swami's notice. If a calf was born, they would bring the calf to Swami, or when Swami came, they would show the calf and pray to Swami to name the calf. So Swami was intensely involved with this Gokulam at that time. And so we used to have this cow procession. And boys would lead the cows in a procession from the Gokulam, which was inside the old bungalow. At the back, behind the old bungalow, was a shed, a series of sheds, in which these cows were kept. And so they would lead it, they would nicely decorate it, and lead it from there to the Sai Ram shed. And there, of course, after they were fed with bananas and aarti was taken, they would bring back the cows. This was the usual practice. And that Krishnashtami also, arrangements were made. Swami had already said that should have the cow procession. Of course, all of us thought that he would be there at that time. But because he had left for Ooty, still he had asked us to continue with this program, and so the cow procession was there. But all of us missed Swami so much, because in those days Swami would spend as much as 9 months of the year in Brindavan. And definitely at Krishnashtami time, Swami would be in Brindavan. Okay, so the cow procession wended its way, and after Aarti, the cows were left back in their place, and we all returned to the hostel. But there was some emptiness in our hearts, and we felt very sad that Swami was not there for that occasion. We missed Swami terribly. And we all went to our places silently, and I'm sure this is what others also did. But what I did was, on my desk, study desk itself, I put my head and closed my eyes and cried silently, missing Swami. And suddenly there was a tap on my shoulder, and one of the students came and said, "The deputy warden, Dr. Lakshmi Narasimham, is calling you." And I quickly wiped my tears and went to him, and seeing my red eyes, he said, yes, I know you are missing Swami very much. Why don't you do one thing? Why don't you speak about Krishna Leelas in today's evening function? And that is how that evening I came to speak about Krishna Leelas. And what happened subsequently, I will tell in the next episode. Sai Ram.